America, Jackson State did come up short in the Celebration Bowl, but there was some other news uh, last week that rocked the college football world. That the number one recruit in all of the nation, number two if you're going by ESPN,
That's right. You know what it is.
Travis Hunter, say he want to be a Tiger. Now y'all already got my reaction to the news. For those of y'all that watched that, I appreciate y'all. Those of y'all that shared it, those of y'all that subscribed after watching it, greatly appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
That was just straight off the cuff. That was in the moment. Had some time to gather some thoughts on it. So I want to share those with you, but also want to let you hear what my brother has to say about the number one recruit in all of the land. Fuck what ESPN talking about. The number one recruit in all of the land
Right.
coming to Jacktown. T,
Yeah.
what was your reaction?
That's probably one of the all-time great flips ever. The one that comes to mind that I think about that kind of parallels to how crazy of a spectacle that was when I think it was Landon Collins announced that he was going to go to Alabama and not go to LSU. I think it was Landon Collins. But I think the whole time she was thinking he was going to LSU, and that man proceeded to go to Bama. And it was like, oh crap! I think was that Landon Collins? Didn't Landon Collins go to Alabama?
I'll look it up for you.
I believe that's right. Look it up. But I thought he was supposed to go to LSU and he went to Bama. But that's one of the all-time flips. That's one of the greatest ones. That's probably the most masterful move that Deion Sanders has made since he's gotten there, and he's made some great recruit signings. He's got some kids that are just sitting on G waiting on O right now, and to get this kid, that's big. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the ESPN 300. We were talking before we started shooting here, and Jackson State's sitting up there amongst the Texas A&Ms and the Bamas and all these different schools, and it just looks so weird in a way, but at the same time, it's so par for the course. And I hope that more and more like that happen. I hope more of these happen. I really wasn't shocked per se, because I figured eventually this would happen. He would get a guy, top 5, something. But to get the number 1 or the number 2, whichever publication you believe in, I mean that just shows you the reach that Deion is getting with what he's doing down there at Jackson State. Kind of funny to me though, because after that you started seeing folks burn Prime's jersey. You saw Dabo Sweeney claim tampering. You saw all this stuff folks talking about. But the thing that I love the most is that there was a robbery and a heist at the same time. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you why that is. So the robbery is that Coach Mike Norvell at Florida State got an extension. Okay. Mike Norvell got an extension at Florida State, probably because this kid was in his queue before the news came out that Jackson State was going to get this kid. So Norvell probably went to the Florida State brass, boosters, whoever, and said, hey, look, I got a guy. Pay me. Hang on to me. I'm going to do something special with this kid. I got a guy. They said, no, man. Yeah, no problem. Cut the check. Mm-hmm. We're going to see what this kid can do. He might be better than Prime. Because, they already didn't want Prime anyway. Right. So he might be better than Prime. And then within like 24 hours, it went like this. And it was gone. It was over with. And they looking at Norvell right now going, you just robbed us. Meanwhile, Prime just made the greatest heist because he just went over to his alma mater, dropped in on some Mission Impossible type stuff, went through the beams and everything, grabbed the kid out of thin air and said, "Come on over here. I got you." It was a robbery and a heist all at once. And so, will more of these things happen? Yes, they will. You saw a lot of other good signings that happened in the SWAC. I think Grambling just got a kid from UCLA. Alcorn signed some really talented guys out of the JUCO ranks. You're just starting to see the floodgates kind of open. You spoke about Valley getting the number one JUCO QB.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on that. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's we here now. So now the question is, what y'all gonna do? So now I will give and I don't think we're gonna cover this, so I'm gonna just say it right here. But Mississippi State, interestingly, I think they got half of the dandy dozen in the state this year. And that was interesting to me. Mississippi State getting 6 of the 12 best in the state. And they actually, it's quite funny because there was one kid that was from Crystal Springs that was gonna go to Florida State, but guess what? He decommitted and he went to Mississippi State. So that's even funnier because they had this kid too, and he's talent. He's a two-way kind of kid, like can play multiple positions and all this stuff. And he was going to Florida State. He was on his way to Florida State, and he left. So Norvell just robbed Florida State of money. And if I had to ask Florida State one question, would you have loved Prime now? Would you really want it? Would you really love Prime now? Is there anything wrong with Prime now compared to what he's doing? Now that you see what he's doing and the way he can recruit and relate to kids. But just to give you a little bit of insight on what this kid can do, they just had a championship bowl type game here earlier. I think it was, I can't remember if it was today or yesterday, but the kid Travis Hunter was on TV, and in a loss, he only did a mere 200 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns for Collins Hill High in Georgia. So, I mean, that just lets you know what he can do. So, kid special. It'd be great to see what he can do in the SWAC. I know a lot of people from other areas like Alcorn and such don't want to see this, but for the HBCU brand and what's going on right now, this is about as great as it gets. This is as good as it gets. It just sets the tone.
Yeah, that's true.
So I love
that's
it.
true.
May or may not, but I love it.
He better get in on it. He need to get in on it. You know what I'm saying? He just groomed a guy who I think should get a shot.
Yeah,
Glad should get a shot.
Definitely should get a shot.
So he should be like, look, y'all see what I did with this guy. If you supposed to be more talented than this guy, come on over here and let me show you what I can do with you. He better get in on it. Okay. That's what you want to see. I want Jackson State, of course, to get more guys than these other guys. But hey, somebody in our comment section underneath my initial reaction to it was like, I'm happy for Jackson State, but who he gonna line up against?
Okay.
Like, I want more of these boys. Come on into the SWAC so he can line up against a 5-star wide receiver. Yeah. Why not? They black.
Yeah.
I would like to go look at these lists and see how many of the 5-star wideouts are black. It's safe to say probably
quite a few.
Probably 90% of them.
I would say so, yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably 90% of the wideouts who 5-stars black. Probably 90% of the 5-star running backs black.
I would say so.
We got a 5-star running back right from around here in Mississippi, right here in Central Mississippi. Yep. That goes to Germantown, who heading to Georgia.
Yeah, Branson Robinson.
Yeah, that's it. So it's like That folks getting me with that. Shocked that black kids are going to play would choose a black school. That's crazy. As I tweeted out, I was like, bruh, to criticize a black child for choosing a black school would be like criticizing a Catholic for choosing Notre Dame or a Mormon for choosing BYU.
Right.
That's nuts. Like, what are we doing?
That's where we at, man.
And it ain't always been like this. Like, bruh, folks be acting like this shit has always been like this, dog. And it has not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this Hall of Famers right now. And what I see with these Hall of Famers, T. Now they say schools with the most Hall of Famers. I see Notre Dame, 13, South Carolina, 13, Michigan, 11, Ohio State, 10, Miami, 9, Pittsburgh, 9, Alabama, 8, Syracuse, 8. You would think Alabama has more. But remember, this pro football used to be segregated as well.
Right.
So like with Notre Dame having all of them, they going all the way back as well. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So Alabama going to end up having more eventually. Syracuse, 8, Minnesota, 7.
They had a run.
Illinois, 6.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you dive off into like the Hall of Fame website does a great job. You dive into the details of it. I say, okay, let me compare Jackson State to Ole Miss. Jackson State got 4 Hall of Famers. Ole Miss got 2. Mississippi State ain't on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Now Mississippi State gonna get one here. Fletcher Cox is a future Hall of Famer.
I would say so.
He going.
Yeah.
He going.
Yeah.
I look at some of these other schools. Oklahoma ain't got nothing but 5. And that's a blue blood.
That is a blue blood.
Now they got another one coming with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
The Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, dog, where were these folks going? They were going to these black schools. In the game we just saw the other day with Celebration Bowl, both schools, Jackson State and South Carolina State, got 4 Hall of Famers to their credit from them schools. And we're talking about names, like Walter Payton from one, who is arguably the GOAT, Deacon Jones from the other. Deacon Jones, one of them boys, like when we talk GOAT talk, like we did the segment on linemen and stuff like that, like if we really just did a deep dive in it, we would have to mention Deacon Jones.
You have to.
Like, I don't even know if they would keeping all the sacks back then.
I don't think so. I think in his era they were.
Like, he that nice. And then they like, oh, this the highest recruit ever to go to HBCU. Bruh, they weren't always ranking these players.
Yeah.
These rankings weren't doing these rankings in like the 50s and 60s where all these stud black boys had to go to these schools.
Yeah.
So like when you say ever, like when they say Steph is the greatest 3-point shooter ever, I agree with that. But the 3-ball only came about at what, 79, 80?
Yeah, it was around that time. ABA.
You know,
ABA.
Hakeem Olajuwon is the all-time leader in blocks. They didn't even keep blocks when Bill Russell was playing. Right. Like, so some of this stuff gets lost. Like Travis Hunter, from the highlights I saw, is tremendous. But I'm sure back in the gap, it's been some.
Oh, it's been some boys.
It probably was some boys who were worthy of a #1 ranking in the country, but because of racism, racial discrimination, they couldn't go to no white schools. And they was at one of these black schools.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I know in the press conference, Coach Prime was like, he gave some data on, you know, how many draftees the HBCUs had from like 1960 up into like the 90s or something. And then going from like the 90s to now. He was like, what happened? Well, Coach, maybe Coach don't know history. I got you, Coach. integration happened, coach.
Right.
Integration happened. You had a few white schools started to see them motherfucker cold. Like Randall Cunningham's brother showed out against Alabama. Randall Cunningham, y'all know the legendary quarterback for Philadelphia Eagles, went on to play with Vikings, and he's a pastor now and everything like that. Like you don't have a Lamar Jackson without Randall Cunningham, but he had a brother who was nice too. And in college, his brother like ran crazy over Alabama, and the story goes that that's what made Bear Bryant say, I need to go start recruiting black players. That performance.
Yeah.
Like these guys, you weren't gonna go there. Right. You weren't gonna go no Alabama, LSU. You weren't gonna go there, bro, because they didn't want you. Nope. And this is within your parent or grandparent. It's within my mama's lifetime. If you're young, it's within your grandparent lifetime. Yeah. They didn't want you. So I know folks be wondering why sometimes I call Ole Miss the Fighting James Merediths. Right. Or Alabama the Fighting Vivian Malones. Because I'm paying tribute to those black folks that integrate those schools, because these boys y'all seeing running around with them balls, they wouldn't be there. Yeah. Without them folks.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
We got to get away from this thinking that it's beneath a black child.
Well,
to take their brilliance to
it goes to show you how they feel, and basically what they think is that these kids are property.
Talk about that.
And that they think, well, okay,
go ahead.
We groomed you coming up. You done been to our camps. You done come to our 7-on-7s. You done rubbed shoulders and met with coaches and done this and done that and all this stuff, and then you shun us. Because basically we have rolled out this red carpet, and basically we're telling you we gonna do better for you than anybody else will. And basically in their eyes, you're just property. Because I don't see a lot of college coaches, even Saban, and maybe I need to deep dive and go into some deeper interviews and stuff, but I don't see a lot of what these kids meant to them once they left their program, or what these kids did for their program while they were there. I don't hear that a lot.
Some we get it, but many we don't.
That's right. And so
many we don't.
So are these
especially
kids
in football?
Exactly.
Because football is such a hierarchy that are you even really dealing with the head coach a lot?
No.
And I know Saban, they say, works with the DBs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's what
a lot of coaches don't do that. Jimbo Fisher, he works with the quarterback. He's an offensive guy. Does he know all his defensive guys like that for real? Is he real like because football is just so many guys.
It is a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you're working with your position, as Coach Prime pointed out. 70% of these big time schools, the boys black. Who really bringing them in?
Yeah.
The black position coaches.
Yeah.
That's who texting them boys. The head coach swoop on in and seal the deal. But who doing the heavy recruiting? Them black men on the staff who can relate to them.
Yeah.
From basketball, I know it firsthand.
Yeah.
When my young boy was getting recruited by Mississippi State, it was a black coach, black assistant coach, who was burning down his phone like that.
Yeah.
The head coach swooped through. I had to go drop him off early one morning because the head coach was coming to the school or whatever. But it was that black man who was on them every day, texting them and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like Coach Prime said, the only difference is I'm the head coach.
Yeah.
I'm doing the work. Black folks out here doing the work, getting these boys go to these schools anyway. Why not, come be coached by me at the head position?
Yeah.
And to your point, T, they saying we gonna treat you better than everybody else. Nobody else want to say this, but put it on something Will say it.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN dancing around it. FS1 dancing around it.
You know
Let's
they gonna
just keep
dance
it a
around.
buck.
You know they're gonna dance around it.
These big schools been paying these boys under the table considerably.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They've been buying these boys cars. They've been paying their mama's bills. They've been getting them houses. See Reggie Bush. Come on, man. So now with the NIL deal, though, these kids see, I don't need to take your shady money. I can go be with my people and still get money and take care of my mama now until I make it to the league.
Yep.
I can go get NIL money and get me a nice whip until I make it to the league and get that. I don't need your under the table no more because you know good and well our kids rather be with their own folk and their own culture, but it was the bread.
Yeah.
It was that bread. Them boosters writing these checks and they dropping off bags. Come on, bro. And so when it's like that, you kind of like, you couldn't fault the kid. You coming from poverty. You don't even know if you're going to make it to the league, but these folks offering 200 racks to come to their school and tote the rock, to cover somebody, to run point, to do whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But now with NIL, now they want to say Tampa. What? No, bro. These kids can profit off their name and image and likeness.
Yep.
And they still doing this shiesty stuff. Don't believe that the under the table is over. That's
it never stopped. Never stop. It's just gonna go to another level.
It's going to another level. But hopefully our children see. All right, now. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to break the rules now. You do not have to break. If you break the rules now, young men, you're just being greedy. Just being greedy then, because you can get the NIL money.
Yeah.
So now if you want to get the NIL money, but still get whatever these boosters offering under the table at these big old schools, you're being greedy now. So if you get caught up like Maurice Claret,
if
you get caught up like Terrell Pryor, like Reggie Bush, countless others, we can just go down the line. All of them be doing it. I don't know how they just pick and choose who get caught.
It's just if you ain't paid if you ain't paid your dues at the NCAA, probably you probably got to tell them to be quiet.
Those the programs that get investigated. We saw in basketball what the Adidas schools were getting investigated and everything like that. Out there, Arizona coach got jammed up with Aiden or something like that. And come on, man. Come on. We all know the game. I don't know why ESPN dancing around it. We ain't gonna dance around it.
No, we ain't gonna dance around it. Look, man, it's a money game. Always has been, always will be. When you can put 100,000 in seats and draw in, make that kind of draw, and kids can, because kids are the draw. So it's always been a money game. So now, okay, I can get this kid $500,000 NIL deal or whatever, and it ain't no problem, because it's the playing field has changed now, and that's what these coaches got to get out of their feelings on, is that the playing field has changed, and these kids don't have to sit here and take your bull, listen to your crap. If they don't want to come to Clemson and do whatever you say they need to do at Clemson,
and I'm glad you mentioned Clemson, because he done showed his colors.
Oh yeah, always.
He showed his colors
when the
height of the movement, like
the movement, the Kaepernick movement, and everything.
Well, I'm talking about last year after George Floyd was murdered.
Oh, okay. See, I'm thinking about the Kaepernick movement.
He came out with some shirt
about when they not kneeling and telling boys they couldn't kneel and stuff. I believe
he did that too, but I think he said something about like football matters instead of Black Lives Matter, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do remember
this man, and I think like his players, like DeAndre Hopkins, and some people like rallied around the butt. Man, Dalbo has shown who he is, bro. Yeah. He one of them boys, like Mike Leach is one of them boys. He tied himself to Donald Trump and everything like that. Like, come on, bro. Like, these kids know y'all don't fuck with them for real. These kids know that, bro. But they trying to take care of their families. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
But now with the NIL, that's giving them a chance not to have to deal with that. But I will say this now. With this NIL, You still need somebody to come through on the marketing tip and bring the bag.
That's true.
These big time boosters and stuff like that might get with their corporate partners and say, well, if they go to a black school, don't give them no bag. Well, that's where the ones in our community who have gotten the bags, who have the brands, and all of the Tyler Perrys, the Mike Jordans, the Bruns, the Kanye's, that's when they gotta step in and get these boys an NIL.
Yeah.
They should be trying to get these boys an NIL anyway. Diddy,
somebody should have. I mean, well, okay. Well, Drake got Shadua, but then I seen what Brady then hooked up to Shadua now.
Yeah.
But we should have been out in front.
I don't know why. I'm telling y'all right, if IG Entertainment was already like that, shit, we'll have Travis Hunter on lock.
We pick him up. We have him early.
That brother bag be waiting. And if Dabo want to say tampering NIL, I would have came on here and said, motherfucking right, I gave him an NIL.
I'd have told Dabo get a tampon.
Fuck wrong with you? Get your shit together, Dabo.
Man,
fuck wrong with you?
It's dang different, man. And that's just where we at, man. These coaches, the coaches that speaking out about that, they've always seen these kids as property, man. They just another number to make their numbers look better, because they're gonna be the ones to get the $5 to $10 million deals, yearly coaching. They can tell these kids, it's just like Lincoln Riley. He can sit there in the kid's living room and say, I'm gonna be your coach. I will be at OU. You come sign with me. And then in 48 hours later, he can go.
And then, if they really value these motherfuckers as people like that, how in the hell do we have a 30 for 30 called broke? Well, they telling me 2/3 of these boys that go to the NBA and NFL end up broke. Yeah. How is that even happening? If you give a fuck about these boys, the ones that's making it, them the boys that's winning you your titles. Yeah. So that means you ain't taught them boys shit about financial literacy while they were at your institution. Yeah. You ain't ingrained that in them boys, so they ready to keep their money.
Yep, that's true.
Come on, bro. That should not fucking happen.
That's true.
At all. That documentary should not exist.
That's true.
But then you got, because you didn't care.
But then you got on the other end of it, and I got to finish watching it. But there's a documentary on Netflix talking about the guys at Arizona State who was shaving points, and now them boys was taking the bread because, again, just like some college basketball players have talked about how they barely can eat, they barely got anything, but they out here playing for these universities and such.
That's what the Fab Five was saying.
These boys was like, man, you mean to tell me I can make $25 grand or $50 grand or whatever it is a night or whatever, dealing with these bookies, and now I'm riding around on with rims and a nice ride and rims and clothes and everything, because just 3 weeks ago I couldn't even eat. I had to go next door to somebody else to get a plate. What do you want these kids to do? What do you want them to do? You got to take care of these kids, man. This is where the human factor comes in. And if you really care about people, you would do what you do right behind these people, especially when kids are giving you their blood, sweat, and tears to make your university notable and everything. So I can't blame these kids for trying to eat. Well, anyway they go. And I hope they eat with the right place.
They better eat with their NIL and make sure you handle your business. If you're supposed to promote this shit. Shout out to brother Travis. I hope you get all the fucking NIL money you can get. Get it, young king. I hope you got a deal with every dealership in Jackson, goddammit. I hope you got a deal with whoever. If you want a statement tease deal now, I got you.
Ain't no problem.
I got you. Now, it might be chump change or whatever the other folk can give you right now, but I got you, king. Yeah. I got you. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to that king for changing the game. You know what I'm saying? We hope to see a lot more. Shout out to Coach Prime, like I said, and the coaching staff for having the audacity to go do that. And Fuck all y'all motherfuckers who hating on it. I know some people were happy that Jackson State lost the Celebration Bowl because they pulled in Travis Hunter. Fuck y'all. On behalf of all the real ones who down with us, I'm telling y'all, fuck y'all. Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit statementtees.llc.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.